You are the mirror, not the reflection. You've spent your whole life chasing your reflection, but you forgot that you are the mirror. From childhood, we are taught to build an identity. This is who you are, they say. You are your name, your gender, your religion, your culture, your achievements, your failures. Layer by layer the reflection forms, but none of it is the real you. The reflection is just the image, constantly changing, shaped by the world, by opinions, by fear and desire. The real you is the one in which the image appears, the silent mirror, the awareness behind the face. This is the heart of non-duality. You are not the form, you are the formless, not the object. You are the space in which all objects arise, not the wave, but the ocean. And yet, you've been lost in the wave, hypnotized by the play of reflections. Every experience you have, joy, pain, love, confusion, is a reflection. It comes and goes, but the mirror never moves. It is always here, untouched, unbroken. Even when the image is messy, the mirror remains clear. The mind identifies with the reflection. I am this body. I am this thought. I am this feeling. But the deeper truth is, thoughts appear to you. Feelings rise in you. You witness them, which means you are not them. So who are you? You are the one who sees, the one who knows. Not personally, but impersonally. You don't own awareness. You are awareness. This is not philosophy. It is your direct experience. Right now, look. Everything you see, hear, feel, it's all appearing to something. That something is not a thing. It's the open space of knowing, the mirror. When we forget this, we suffer. We take every emotion personally. We defend our image. We fear change, because the reflection is always changing. But when you remember you are the mirror, you become free. Nothing can stain the mirror. Anger, sadness, joy, they all come and go. But the awareness remains the same. Just like clouds cannot touch the sky, the ego is the reflection trying to control the mirror. It wants to be seen a certain way, to feel important, to prove its worth. But the mirror doesn't need approval. It doesn't even need to be seen. It just is. And here's the most beautiful part. The mirror reflects everything, but clings to nothing. It welcomes all, rejects nothing. That's what you are. In deep spiritual moments, people often report a sense of coming home. That's because they stop chasing the reflection and rest in the mirror. They remember their true nature, not as a person, but as presence itself. This doesn't mean you stop living or feeling or expressing. It means you live with clarity. You act, but you are not caught. You feel, but you are not consumed. You think, but you are not trapped in thought. In this awareness, all life becomes sacred. Every face you see is a reflection in the same mirror. There is no other. Just one field of consciousness appearing as many forms. So don't fight the reflection. Don't try to perfect it. Just remember, it's not you. You are the stillness behind the image. You are the light that allows the image to appear. You don't need to become anything. You just need to be what you already are. And what you are is so simple, so quiet, so ever-present, that the mind keeps overlooking it. Look again, not at the image, but at the space in which the image appears. You are that. You have always been that. And in realizing it, the search ends. Not because you found something, but because you saw what was never lost. You're not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean. They told you that you're small, a single life in a vast, indifferent cosmos. But what if they were wrong? The greatest lie ever told is that you are separate from existence, that you are just a drop, lost in the endless sea of life. But non-duality reveals something much more powerful. You are not the drop. You are the ocean, pretending, for a little while, to be the drop. This changes everything. We've been conditioned to believe in separation, me and you, this and that, life and death. But if you look closely, if you peel back the layers of belief, what you find is a single, unified field of being. No borders, no divisions. Just one infinite presence, expressing itself in countless forms. You are not separate from that presence. You are it. When you look at a tree, what sees it? Your eyes, yes. But behind the eyes, consciousness. And that same consciousness is what looks through everyone's eyes. It's not yours or mine. It just is. It is the ocean, taking the form of the drop to experience itself. The feeling of being a separate self is deeply convincing. It's the result of years of conditioning. We're taught to think of ourselves as individuals, each with a private life and a personal destiny. But in truth, the sense of I is just a wave on the surface of the sea. When that wave settles, what remains is the ocean, silent, still, and endless. This doesn't mean your life doesn't matter. In fact, it means it matters more. Because every moment, every thought, every breath is the ocean expressing itself. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is separate. Everything is sacred. You are not just in the universe. The universe is in you. And more than that, it is you. Think of love. Real love is not about possession or attachment. It's the recognition of oneness. When you see yourself in the other, that's love. Not the love of ego, which wants to hold and control, but the love of truth, which sees no other at all. In this space, everything belongs. There is no part of you that needs to be fixed or purified or saved. There is only awareness, recognizing itself in all things. The idea that you must do something to become whole is part of the illusion. You are already whole, already home. You were never born. You will never die. These are appearances in the dream. The ocean cannot be destroyed. It simply changes shape. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are the mystery itself, forgetting and remembering its own nature in a cosmic play of light and shadow. This is not a belief. It's a direct experience, available here and now, in this moment, if you become still enough to notice it. Drop the thoughts, drop the labels, drop the story. What remains? Presence, peace, being, the ocean. And in that recognition, everything changes. Fear loses its grip. Desire softens. Suffering begins to fade, not because life becomes perfect, but because you no longer resist it. You see everything as yourself. And in that, there is deep, effortless love. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean, dreaming of being a drop. Wake up. Welcome home. Your thoughts are just echoes, not the truth. We trust our thoughts like sacred scripture. We believe them without question. I'm not good enough. This will never work. They don't like me. These phrases loop in our heads all day, and we treat them like facts. But what if none of them are real? What if your thoughts are just echoes, reflections of past conditioning, not the truth? Thoughts arise from memory, from old wounds, habits, teachings, fears. They are not original. They are not wise. Most of them are just noise, but they have power only because we give them attention. A thought says, "You're a failure," and suddenly your whole body reacts. Anxiety, shame. But stop and ask, who decided this thought was true? The mind is like a radio, constantly playing. It recycles ideas from yesterday, from childhood, from society. It tells stories about who you are and what the world is. But none of these stories are solid. They change based on mood, hormones, sleep, or weather. If your thoughts can't even remain consistent, how can they be the truth? In non-duality, we begin to see that thoughts are not you. You are the one hearing them. Just like you hear sounds, you hear thoughts. They come and go, but the awareness that notices them is always here. This awareness doesn't judge. It doesn't argue. It just sees. When you realize this, thoughts lose their grip. They may still appear, but they don't control you. You don't have to believe everything you think. In fact, you shouldn't. A thought is just an echo of your past, of your culture, of your fears. But truth is not found in echoes. Truth is silent, direct, alive. This doesn't mean you become mindless. It means you become free. Free from automatic reactions. Free from the inner critic. Free to witness thoughts without being dragged by them. Like clouds drifting across the sky. You no longer chase or resist. You simply let them pass. You'll notice something else too. When you stop identifying with thoughts, peace arises naturally. Not because you fixed anything, but because you stopped fighting. The mind wants to solve problems it created, but awareness just watches. And in that still watching, truth begins to shine. Imagine sitting on a quiet hilltop. A train passes by in the distance. You hear the whistle. That's how thoughts are. They're just passing trains. Let them come. Let them go. You don't need to jump on board every time one arrives. Your worth is not defined by your thoughts. Your identity is not trapped in your thinking. You are the space in which thoughts appear. And this space, this awareness, is always whole, always untouched. Truth is not noisy. It doesn't shout. It doesn't argue. It doesn't come in the form of mental chatter. Truth is like a soft breeze, felt in the silence between thoughts. That's where reality lives. That's where you truly are. The breath before the word. Where God lives before a word is spoken, there is breath. Before an idea forms, there is silence. And in that silence, pure, alive and still, God lives. Not as a person, not as a being outside of you, but as the very presence you are. The breath before the word is not empty. It is full of everything. Language is powerful. It builds civilizations. It shares stories, but it also creates separation. The moment we name something, we divide it from the rest. We say this and that, me and you, God and world. But reality knows no such divisions. In the breath before the word, all is one. Non-duality shows us that truth cannot be spoken. It can only be known. Not through books, not through teachings, but through direct experience. You can't describe water to someone who's never tasted it. In the same way, the divine cannot be defined. It must be felt in the stillness before language rushes in. Every sacred tradition points to this silence, the stillness before a prayer, the pause before a mantra, the breath before a sacred chant. Why? Because in that moment, the ego dissolves. Time disappears. There is no past or future, only presence. And in that presence you meet God, not as something separate, but as your own being. Try this. Sit in silence. Don't speak. Don't think. Just breathe. Follow the breath to its source. Feel it come and go. Inhale. Exhale. Notice the gap, the pause between breaths. That gap is sacred. It's not absence. It's awareness. It's not nothing. It's everything. In the breath before the word, there is no ambition, no fear, no judgment. Just being. And being is enough. You don't need to achieve enlightenment. You are enlightenment before the mind says otherwise. Words try to describe the divine, but always fall short. God, soul, self, consciousness. These are fingers pointing to the moon. But the moon doesn't need pointing. It just shines. You are that light, hidden beneath layers of concepts and noise. Spirituality, at its core, is not about becoming better. It's about returning to what is already pure. You don't find God in grand ideas or rituals. You find God in the breath, in the quiet, in the now. And once you touch that place, everything changes. The trees look brighter. The air feels softer. People become mirrors, not enemies. Life becomes a sacred dance, not a battle to win. Because now you're not living from the surface. You're living from the source. The breath before the word is the doorway. Enter it, stay there. Let language fall away. Let identity dissolve. Let only awareness remain. That is where God lives, not in temples or books, but in the simple, silent space before thought. Spirituality begins where language ends. We think we understand spirituality because we've read about it, talked about it, heard lectures on it. But real spirituality begins where language ends. It starts when words become useless, when the mind finally surrenders and silence becomes the only truth. Language is useful. It helps us navigate the world, but it also traps us. It makes us believe that reality can be put into boxes, named, controlled. But the infinite cannot be captured in a sentence. The divine doesn't fit into grammar. The soul doesn't need description. It just is. Non-duality points beyond language. It doesn't ask you to believe anything. It invites you to see what is here, now, without filters. And when you do, you'll notice something strange. The deepest truths cannot be spoken. The moment you try, they slip away, like trying to hold smoke in your hands. Spirituality is not about concepts. It's about direct seeing, feeling, being. When the mind stops labeling everything, good, bad, mine, theirs, you begin to see the world as it is, raw, alive, perfect, without needing your input. This doesn't mean you become silent forever. It means you use words, but are no longer bound by them. You see that tree is just a sound. Me is just a sound. Underneath the labels, everything is one essence, no separation, no conflict. When language ends, intimacy begins. You don't relate to life through ideas, but through presence. A flower is not a flower. It is color, fragrance, form. It's a mystery, not a noun. A person is not their name, job, or beliefs. They are being, unfolding moment by moment. The greatest saints, mystics, and sages all came to this point. They spoke, yes, but always with the awareness that words are limited. Lao Tzu began the Tao Te Ching with, "The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao." Why? Because truth is before words. Your own experience proves this. The most meaningful moments in life, birth, death, love, awe, often leave us speechless. Not because they are unclear, but because they are too clear, too full, too sacred for language. In meditation, you touch that space. Thoughts rise and fall, but you remain. Not as a name or a story, but as awareness itself. You don't need to understand this. You are this. Before the word spiritual, before the idea of awakening, you are presence. Let go of needing to explain everything. Let go of defining yourself. Let the mystery be mystery. When language ends, a new kind of knowing begins. Not the knowing of the intellect, but the knowing of the heart. The knowing that doesn't need proof or logic. This is true spirituality. Not a belief system, not a ritual, not a practice. It is the end of seeking, the end of becoming, the end of needing. Just being, here, now, wordless, whole. When language ends, love begins, stillness begins, truth begins, and you realize you were never lost. You just got caught in words. Now, finally, you are home.